Strap in, kids. Strap in. This is going to be a doozy. This is going to be a doozy. The 76ers get obliterated from start to finish by the Cleveland Cavaliers, 133-107. The negative Neds are already in the chat, so stay tuned. We're going to probably have a back and forth with the negative Neds of the world. The 76ers win a couple games in a row. I hear nothing from these people. The 76ers lose one game like this, and they are out here with pitchforks. They are active, and they're ready to go. These shows are brought to you by our friends at Bright Medical Technology. Bright Medical is Pennsylvania's largest medical supplier and pharmacy. What do they specialize in, you might say? Bright Medical specializes in ambulatory aids like walkers and wheelchairs, oral nutrition, tube feeding supplies, diabetic supplies, including diabetic shoes and glucose monitors, incontinence supplies, catheters. If you're having trouble breathing, Bright Medical specializes in nebulizers, inhalers, spacers, and all breathing medications. Sixers looked like they were having trouble breathing in this one from the time they stepped on the floor. Bright Medical accepts most insurances, serves patients from all ages, and delivers anywhere in Pennsylvania. They have a call staff that speaks 15 languages and is always a real person, never an automated system. If you need any medical supplies, just call Bright Medical, and don't forget to mention Run It Back Philly when you call. Go to brightmedi.com or call 215-725-MEDS. That's 215-725-6337. Let's get down to business. The 76ers got their ass kicked in this game in every single which way possible. Let me just show you the team stats to start this one off, okay? Cleveland Cavaliers, 3-point field goal percentage, 43.5%. And that's not insanely unrealistic. That's not like a 75% three-point field goal percentage or anything, but it stayed right there the whole game. They were at 45% in the first quarter. They were at 40-something in the second. They shot higher than that in the third. It stayed right there the whole game. 20 for 46 from three. We could not stop them. They had players. They had 20% three-point shooters just raining threes on us. DeAndre Hunter in the first quarter, and you name it. What else? Out-rebounded us 52-42. Almost doubled our assist numbers. They moved the ball way better than the 76ers did this entire game. Defensive rebounds, 40-31. 12 offensive rebounds. And now look, these numbers actually aren't even as egregious as they really were in the first three quarters, because the game was over and the Sixers put their scrubs in and the Cavs put their scrubs in. So these numbers were a lot worse at the end of the third quarter. They actually came around a little bit when the benches were battling each other at the end. Points in the paint, 48-32. Fast break points, 24-17. Second chance points, 19-16. The only categories the Sixers won in this game were the steals and the personal fouls. They got destroyed in every which way possible in this game. They couldn't play any defense. They couldn't get a rebound. They couldn't do anything. And it wasn't like they started out hot and collapsed. It wasn't like they started out cold and got hot. They started out cold and stayed cold essentially for the entire game. They did make one little run that gave me hope that I should not have conceded to in the third quarter, which is funny because the third quarter ended up being the biggest beatdown of them all. They started out with maybe the worst first quarter I've ever seen from the 76ers. No energy at all. And credit to the Cleveland Cavaliers, because the Cavs defense in this game looked elite from the jump. And I can't tell if it was the 76ers' lack of energy or if the Cavaliers have now turned a new page and started playing defense. So, this game, from the tip-off in the first quarter, the Cavaliers morphed into the Oklahoma City Thunder defensively somehow, some way. And I'm over here Googling and researching what's the Cavs' defensive rating this season. They have to be, not so good record-wise, and they don't want to be where they want to be in the standings right now. And they've had trouble with Evan Mobley and these guys getting some kind of chemistry this year. But I thought maybe they're like sneakily a top 5 defensive team and I just didn't know it. No, they're like 25th in the league defensively. It's actually one of the things that everybody talks the most about when they talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers is that their defense this year is terrible. From the first possession of this game, they looked like an elite defensive crew. And I don't know if that's just they got it together suddenly and are playing better together on the defensive end, or if the 76ers had no energy to start this game. They clamped Tyrese Maxey the entire game. And the Sixers didn't have an answer. Tyrese Maxey didn't have an answer. They clamped Tyrese Maxey from the jump. Jalen Tyson, I remember the first couple of possessions of the game, probably the whole first quarter, I was like, dude, Jalen Tyson is clamping Tyrese Maxey. And they were spamming the Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey 2-man game in the first quarter. And pretty much the whole game, honestly, they were spamming the Maxey and Embiid 2-man game. It wasn't really working. The Cavs were doing a great job of defending it. Joel Embiid got his here and there, and Maxey got his here and there. Not a lot at all. But they looked a little bit one-dimensional, the Sixers did, if you ask me. And when I talk about games where they play without Joel Embiid and Paul George, how they look one-dimensional because it's just Maxey iso ball the whole game. This game, to me, it was Maxey Embiid screen game. They tried to just spam it, and it wasn't working. Joel Embiid had 5 turnovers in the first quarter. Oh, in the first quarter. You mean not the whole game? The first quarter. And a 2-man game with Maxey and Embiid is not going to work when Joel Embiid has 5 turnovers in the first quarter. He got called for traveling twice. Just fumbling the ball here and there, just sloppy with it. And again, Maxey got clamped from the jump. And I was personally disappointed with how Maxey answered that defensive intensity from the Cavaliers tonight. I was disappointed with that. I haven't seen that much from Tyrese Maxey this season. Usually if he has a bad first half, he comes out and just lights it up in the third and the fourth quarter. Again, credit to the Cavaliers defense. They didn't let up. They didn't take their foot off the gas, and they kept the same strategy the whole game. They actually ramped it up in the second half. They kind of started to double Tyrese Maxey even more and challenge somebody else to beat them even more than they did in the first half, and the Sixers didn't have an answer. But I was disappointed with the way that Tyrese Maxey kind of folded in this game, and you saw his confidence kind of go away in this game. The Cavs really got into him. They played physical. They stayed on his hip, and it looked to me like Tyrese Maxey lost confidence in this game and just didn't have an answer. I thought he could have got some open shots in the second half that he kind of passed on. This is the first time I really saw Tyrese Maxey get rattled like this season. I've seen him have a couple of bad shooting games this season. That's one thing. But this is the first time I've seen a team, well, the Oklahoma City Thunder did it to us too when they blew us out. They did that same thing. This really resembled that Oklahoma City Thunder game where the defensive intensity from the jump was just on another level from the opponent, and the Sixers didn't have an answer. And so I guess the OKC game and this game are the only 2 games I've seen this season where Tyrese Maxey really seemed like he got rattled by the defense and didn't have an answer, really. That's number 1 on the Cavs. They shut down Tyrese Maxey. Joel Embiid wasn't good either. I wanted to say nice things about him because in the first half, there were some good things to say about Embiid defensively. I thought he was moving defensively very well in the first half in the paint. I thought the combination of him and Paul George sometimes in the paint was nice defensively and was some of the best movement I've seen defensively from Joel Embiid this season. But it was not enough. Really, the story of the whole game is holding Tyrese Maxey to 14 points, 31% from the field, minus 22, 2 for 8 from 3, a 41% true shooting percentage. That's a bad game. That's a bad game. Now, I know there's going to be, and a lot of you guys don't believe that these people exist, but there's going to be the anti-Tyrese Maxey crowd, just like the negative Neds that stay quiet when the Sixers win 5 in a row, and then they come out with pitchforks when the Sixers lose a game like this. There's going to be the anti-Tyrese Maxey crowd on the internet. Stay far away from them if you can. They provide nothing to sports talk whatsoever, and they will just infiltrate your brain and give you a headache. And then when the 76ers look differently 2 nights from now against the Cavs on Friday night, they will go back into hiding. But they are going to have a field day with this one because Tyrese Maxey had a really bad game, 14 points, a minus 22, 5 for 16. And when I call him the number one option on his team, this is what happens when a number one option gets slowed down the way that he did. Now, I'm gonna say this too. Nobody else really stepped up and helped him out. Joel Embiid put up 20, but that's light for Joel Embiid. We know that offensively. In the third quarter, I thought they were going to answer, and they didn't. VJ Edgecombe, to me, was a no-show completely. And, again, that's what you get relying on a 20-year-old. When a team successfully shuts down Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, really, who's the third and the fourth option, I needed VJ Edgecombe to do something miraculous in this game. I needed VJ Edgecombe to change this game with maybe his defensive intensity, maybe his defense to offense, maybe some steals into some fast breaks. He wasn't really engaged from the start of the game. He was really just chucking threes. And I love his confidence on the three-point shot. I'm never going to fault him for that. But I think he was just catching and shooting the three a little bit too much in this game, VJ was, and there was no real attacking the paint or trying to get downhill or trying to put pressure on the defense in sort of the absence of Tyrese Maxey's dominance and Joel Embiid's dominance. I needed VJ Edgecombe to do that. Again, that's what happens when you're relying on a 20-year-old rookie to be a high-level starter, and I love him, and I think he's blown me away this season, and I think the sky's the limit for VJ Edgecombe, but he was a rookie tonight. VJ Edgecombe was. Paul George gave you 17, played tough defense. I'm over kind of roasting Paul George. Paul George is what he is at this point. He's a $50 million role player. He's a 3-and-D guy. He's a $50 million, Alex Caruso. That's a horrible comparison. He's way better offensively than Alex Caruso. But would you have loved Paul George in this game to be able to step up and be the one that gives you 25 or 30 or 35? Yes, but he doesn't have it anymore. Paul George doesn't have it anymore. This is who Paul George is now. He's a defensive role player that we paid $50 million, and it is what it is. This is what you're going to get from Paul George, 17 and some solid defense. So, I don't want to excuse that. I don't want to say that's okay for a $200 million player, but he's not going to improve at this point. He's 35 years old. So that's what it is. The story of it is Maxey gets shut down. Joel Embiid basically gets shut down. The Sixers' third options didn't really step up. Now, they made a run in the third quarter. And in the third quarter, I wanted to give credit to Quentin Grimes because they did make a little bit of a run in the third. And they got the lead down to 17. It was 23 at one point in the first half. The third quarter, the 76ers got the lead down to 11. And a lot of it was the aggression and hustle of Quentin Grimes, coming up with steals, diving on the floor. The combination of Quentin Grimes and Kelly Oubre was a part of that run. I really thought the 76ers had a chance to come back and win this game with that run that they were having in the third quarter when they cut it to 11 points. The Cavaliers blew a game this season to the Indiana Pacers, maybe the worst team in the NBA right now, who's not even trying to win. They blew a 27-point lead to the Indiana Pacers earlier this season. So I'm sitting there saying, if there's any team that can blow a 22-point lead and lose, it's this Cleveland Cavaliers team this year. And we got it all the way down to 11. And then I got to just give Donovan Mitchell credit because the 76ers got it down to 11. The coach calls a timeout. And they came out and put us out of our misery. I don't know what he said to them in that timeout. But that timeout in the third quarter when the Sixers cut the lead to 11, the Cavs came out of that timeout and put us out of our misery. It was a wrap. I don't know what he said to them in that timeout, but it was a wrap. And Donovan Mitchell absolutely cooked our pants off at the end of that third quarter. I don't know, like Donovan Mitchell just decided, you know what? I'm not letting this happen. I'm not letting this team come back from a 22-point deficit and win this game. I'm putting this away. And he destroyed us at the end of the third quarter. Donovan Mitchell had, I think, 20 points in the third quarter. Finished the game with 35, 7, and 9, a plus 29, 50% from the field, 5 for 12 from 3. But in the third quarter specifically, 20 points from Donovan Mitchell in the third quarter. You're not going to win a game giving up 20 points to any player in the third quarter. You're definitely not going to win a game where you're trying to make a comeback and you give up 20 points to one player in the third quarter. And I honestly, watching it, I can't even say that the 76ers were playing bad defense or anything like that on Donovan Mitchell. He was just so good. If we took a step back, he was bombing the threes, and he was lighting it up to the point where he was walking away from it like Steph Curry. He knew it was going in. I got a little Nick Nurse dig here because the Sixers, after the Cavs were already shooting 45% from three in the first half, Nick Nurse decided to switch to a zone. I have no idea why. Immediately, right when he switched to a zone in the third quarter, Donovan Mitchell hit back-to-back threes. It was almost like Donovan Mitchell was ahead of Nick Nurse, and he saw the coverage and he said, really? I'm cooking you guys to ash in one-on-one man-to-man defense. Help defense, double coverage defense, whatever. You're going to let me stand here wide open in a zone? Left wing, back-to-back threes. Donovan Mitchell just, okay, I mean, I'm already cooking you guys. Now you're going to let me shoot it? So switching to a zone, I don't even know why Nick Nurse did that, but Donovan Mitchell took advantage of it immediately. And, you know, if we step back, he was hitting a three. If we stepped up, he was getting past people. He was making ridiculous floaters. He was making ridiculous turnaround jump shots, up and under layups, fighting through contact. Donovan Mitchell, in the third quarter, gave the 76ers everything in his bag and put us out of our misery. So we showed a little bit of fight in the third, cut it down to 11, and then Donovan Mitchell just went nuclear on us. And I honestly just credit Donovan Mitchell for that. He was making just acrobatic plays damn near every possession, and the 76ers didn't have a single answer for it. And even when it looked like we were about to stop him, he drew a foul. I mean, it was... Donovan Mitchell put us out of our misery, man. Out of our misery. We got a lineup watch. My last take here is the Nick Nurse lineup watch. And it happened to be in the third quarter, the end of the third quarter. So we make the run. We cut it to 11. He had, there's a couple of things I hated about Nick Nurse in this game. First of all, crying to the officials all game long. Bro, shut the fuck up. Nick Nurse, for the love of God, for the love of every God and every religion that anybody worships, please shut the fuck up, dude. Shut the fuck up. The officials don't want to hear you. When the Sixers are getting cooked by 20-plus points and they look like they have no energy, and the last thing the fans want to see is you bitching up at the officials up and down the sideline, red in the face. Well, what about that call right there? Well, what about this one? Well, what about he was out of bounds. Shut the fuck up and coach the goddamn team. All this guy does is cry to officials from the start of the game to the end of the game and does absolutely zero coaching, bro. I can't stand this guy. I didn't think I was going to yell like that. I just wanted to say that about Nick Nurse. And then there was the third quarter. So that's the first thing I hated about Nick Nurse in this game. The second thing I hated about Nick Nurse was the not staggering Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. For a couple of games this season, I've seen Nick Nurse stagger Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. I've seen them play the two-man game in the first quarter. Then I've seen Embiid come off the floor, and I've seen him run this Maxey-centric offense. And then Maxey goes to the bench, Embiid comes to the floor. They run this Embiid-centric offense. And that's called staggering. Now suddenly, Nick Nurse is doing this thing where he takes Maxey and Embiid off the floor at the same time. Now who's running the show, bro? Quentin Grimes? 20-year-old VJ Edgecombe? Well, what are you doing? And then the end of the third quarter lineup. On the lineup watch, Tyrese Maxey was out there with Quentin Grimes, but it seemed like the go-to player was Jabari Walker for some reason. I like Jabari Walker, and he was playing a lot of minutes because Dominick Barlow got hurt. But I got to tell you something. He can't shoot. Jabari Walker can't shoot either. I mean, Dominick Barlow can't shoot either. But I swear to God, the Cavs doubled Maxey, and he passed it into the corner to Jabari Walker like 4 times for a three-point attempt. And I was like, why does this guy keep shooting? And is that, you expect to win when you got a lineup out there and it seems like Jabari Walker's your second option? Nothing like lineup-wise or strategy-wise really made any sense once the Cavs put the boots to the Sixers, and Nick Nurse had no answer. He didn't adjust anything. It doesn't feel like he really coaches the team at all. Those are all my takes on it, man. Give me your takes in the chat. Give me your... What do you think happened in this game? What do you think the main issue was with the Sixers in this loss? Was it just a bad night? Was it just a bad shooting game? Were the Cavs just on fire? Give me all your takes on this one. Anyone else catch when Kate said we could get it to single digits if we hit a 3 and we were down like 17? Yeah, and she also said Donovan Mitchell's 25 years old, and he was drafted the same year as Ben Simmons. I thought anybody that watches the Sixers would know that Donovan Mitchell's 29. I don't know why she said Donovan Mitchell's 25 years old. And I was like, what? He's only 25? What are you talking about? I've been watching this guy play for a long time. And then I asked my phone, and yeah, he's 29 years old. So there's that. How are the 76ers going to beat 4 playoff teams with Embiid not being consistent or body breaking down? Yeah, I don't know what you mean by this. Shane, is that Shane? Top shot on 905. Yeah, it's a bad game, man. It's a bad game. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing, bro. I say this a lot, but when the Sixers win, the chat tells me we are contenders and we have a shot to win the East. And we do. The 76ers are contenders. When healthy, they have a shot to win the East. But anytime they have a bad game like this one and just get beat up from start to finish, all of a sudden the chat tells me how terrible this team is, how terrible Joel Embiid is, how Tyrese Maxey's not a number one, how the Sixers won't be able to beat anyone in the play. The overreaction to losses by this fan base is insane. It is absolutely insane. It's a bad game, just like they had a bad game against Denver, and then they won 5 in a row. This happens. We got them again on Friday. If they look the same as they look tonight on Friday, then you have a case, but I don't think that's going to happen. What What else we got, man? Let's see. PG makes $50 million a year and can't score more than 20 points in an entire game. S. Montoya, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Mind you, PG was guarding Mitchell for most of the game. Yeah, nobody could stop Donovan Mitchell. That's not on Paul George. Donovan Mitchell is one of the best scorers in the NBA, and you just saw it tonight. He just cooked everybody. There's PG sympathizers. Well, that's to be a Paul George stan in 2026 is pretty wild. The one day I return back to sports betting, Maxey only scores 14 points. Well, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Nobody cares. We're here to talk about the 76ers, the team, what they looked like in the game, what they can do in the playoffs. We're here to talk about two sports teams playing a sport and competing. We're not here to talk about your betting addiction and the fact that Maxey only scored 14 and ruined your parlay. Nobody cares. We got to get back to watching sports, guys. This is off topic, but too many people nowadays, man. Too many people, man. I can't even have a sports conversation with people sometimes anymore, man. I'll be like, yo, did you see what so-and-so did in this game? They'll be like, yeah, fucked my fucking parlay, bro. I had an 18,000 leg parlay and the motherfucker couldn't get a rebound. I don't care. What do I got to do to talk sports with people these days, man? Let's see what else we got, man. Joel Embiid is going to get targeted in the playoffs. I thought Joel played good defense in this game. I thought he played good defense in this game. I don't know what you mean by Joel is going to get targeted in the playoffs. He had a block. He was moving his feet well. There's a possession on Evan Mobley in the first half or the third quarter, the beginning of the third quarter, where Paul George, gets beat a little bit, but kind of drives Mobley to the baseline, and then Joel steps up and takes him on and moves his hips and blocks him off from the baseline and causes a turnover. I thought Joel was moving great, and I thought, I don't know, what do you mean by he's going to get targeted? He's 7'2". He's starting to move really well. You can't target Joel Embiid. Teams refuse to attack the paint, actually, when he's in there. And now you said this is not a serious team. Okay, well, just the overreaction to one loss is absolutely insane, in my opinion. Let's see. What else you guys got in the chat, man? X-Man, I was baffled in the first. We were down 12. Nobody apart from Maxey was on the floor. Nurse was nasty on lineups. I completely agree with that, man. Some of his lineups were insane. Barlow got hurt, and their double big lineup was and Grimes subbed in. He does get critiqued a little bit too much with, Barlow got hurt, and they were trying to give Embiid a rest. And, I mean, like a lot of times you got to ask yourself, who was he supposed to put in there at that time? But there were a lot of terrible lineups in this game. I agree with that. No, the overreaction is to the good games. Oh, okay, so the Sixers starting the season without Joel Embiid and Paul George and hanging in there and having an above a 500 record while Tyrese Maxey is second in the NBA in scoring and having an incredible season. And Joel Embiid comes back and is starting to ramp up and starting to look like his old self, which I didn't even think was possible. And the games that they've had these guys on the floor now consistently for, I think, 9 straight games, and they won 5 in a row, and they started to build chemistry, and they looked great. We're overreacting to those games. And we're not reacting enough to the bad games. Okay. Stop the gambling ads then. I don't have any gambling ads. Thank you. DJ, could you see a definitive game plan tonight? No, I did not see a definitive game plan at all. I didn't see a punchback. I didn't see a counter. The Cavs just took it to us defensively, and I didn't see a punchback. I didn't see a counter. I didn't see much of anything. Sixers are not a contender. Maxey is the only good player on this team. Bro, what did I say right when the intro dropped on this stream? The negative Neds, they went into hiding when the Sixers were playing good, and now one bad loss, and they came out with pitchforks marching down the street. You guys are absolutely insane. And when they look good again and win a couple games in a row, I won't see you in the chat anymore. It's insane, bro. Like, you guys just, I don't know if it's that you're just negative in general and you just wake up angry. And when the Sixers are good, you're like, oh, okay, this fucking team. And then when they're bad, they're like, now's my chance. Now's my chance. Now's my chance to say all the negative stuff that I wanted to say. It's wild, bro. It's wild. The comments when the Sixers lose a game. Bro, it's insane. Joel, I guess Kevin Patullo took up basketball. That part irks me the most was Maxey being dejected and not taking over. It's his team. I completely agree with that. I thought Maxey had a bad game, and I didn't think Maxey punched back at all. I think this game and the OKC game are the two games where Maxey got punched defensively, and I didn't see a punch back from him. And I don't expect to see that on Friday. I expect to see everybody punch back on Friday. I ain't worried about this at all. The negative Neds in the chat can take it away and throw the parade of negativity that they want to throw tonight. But, you know, I'm a lifelong Sixers fan. Tell me your thoughts on Tyrese's shot selection. It's terrible at half the time. His shot selection was bad in this game because, like I said, they punched him. They took him out of rhythm. They made him uncomfortable, and he folded. His shot selection was terrible in this game. If you're telling me his shot selection is terrible on the season, he is averaging 30 points per game, 6.6 assists per game. He is shooting 47% from the field and 40% from three on 9.1 attempts per game. That is damn good for a guy that has the ball in his hands all the time, if you ask me. That's just my opinion. Another overreaction in the chat. All right, bro, we'll see what your videos are looking like in May. All right, man. Hey, y'all are all welcome to your opinion. It's all love. It's just ball. And if there are people out there that think I'm being overly positive and I'm going to it's all going to come crashing down and I'm going to be mad by the time the playoffs come around, we'll see. But I personally have enjoyed what this team has looked like this season so far. And maybe it's just the fact that last season was so bad that I have an iron suit of armor on now. Maybe there's nothing you can do to get to me because last season was so bad. You know what I mean? Let's go over to Twitter. We gotta see if there's any Dominick Barlow update. Austin Krell. This game was over by the end of the first quarter. Some moments of pride and character, but absolutely no good results for the Sixers. Facts. Sixers say Dominick Barlow has a back contusion and won't return tonight. Nick Nurse said Barlow had x-rays that were clear. Clear? Expects he'll have an MRI tomorrow. What does clear mean? Who says that? He had x-rays that were clear. Do you reporters ask any questions, bro? He had x-rays. Were they positive or negative? Is he injured or not? They were clear. Yeah, you don't say, bro. That's actually what an X-ray is. It's clear. It sees through your body to see if there's anything going on there. So the X-rays were clear, Nick Nurse says. That means nothing, and he'll have an MRI tomorrow. But Dominick Barlow, man, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, Dominick Barlow. I'm sorry. It had to be you, man. I'm so sorry it had to be you, man. When you put on a 76ers jersey, you are taking the risk of catastrophic injury. It's what you're signing up for. It's almost like somebody becoming a police officer. You know that you're taking a risk of dying in the line of duty. It's almost like signing up for the military. You know that you're taking a risk of dying in the line of duty at war. When you put on a 76ers jersey, you are taking a risk of catastrophic injury. And the 76ers have been healthy for a couple of games now. They've had no injury report for a couple of games. And the last time they had no injury report was February of 2023. That's almost 3 calendar years the 76ers had an injured player. And so they didn't have an injured player for a couple of games in a row, and you just knew that the basketball gods were not going to let that stand. And they struck down something from the heaven. They shot a blind one down at us because we've been healthy, and it hit Dominick Barlow. He got nailed with the injury bug from the basketball gods because the 76ers we're not allowed to be healthy for that long. It was an awkward one, which is why I'm a little bit more concerned about Dominick Barlow's back injury than I initially was. See, if he went up and got his shot blocked, and I thought he landed flat on his back and hit his head on the ground. And so I thought it was going to be like a bruise, like he landed hard on his tailbone or his hip or something, and it was going to be something like that. But then when I saw the replay, he landed on both feet and then kind of bent backwards and then like slowly fell to the ground, which, of course, I'm not a doctor or something, but that feels to me like more of a back injury than just hitting the ground hard. So I don't feel great about the Dominick Barlow injury. And 22-year-old two-way player who's been playing out of his damn mind, all things considered, for the Sixers this year, and that really, really sucks that he got hurt like that. All these reports are about Dominick Barlow, Nick Nurse, and Dominick Barlow. My guy, RB, the Sixers have won 5 out of their last 8 games and looked really good with their lineup playing more consistently together. Effort was not that good tonight, but overall I'm still encouraged with how they have been playing. Exactly, bro. You win 5 of 8. And Sixers fans, at least the ones in my chat, are ready to jump off the Walt Whitman, man. Let's see. Antoine, I haven't watched a game on TV in years, only YouTube highlights. Well, I mean, I don't know exactly why you would admit that in this chat. To join, to even really be able, and I'm just being honest with you, to even really be able to join the conversation here, you have to watch basketball games, not just YouTube highlights. Who's your top pick for new head coach if Nurse got fired today? I don't have one. I don't do that. I don't really think about that. I don't do that. A lot of people do that, and that's fine. That's just not something that I do. I don't think about NBA coaches. I don't think about who I want as an NBA coach. I don't ever really think about that. I'm never like, they need to fire Nurse and hire this guy. I never really do that. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. DJ, I'm still got to get rid of Embiid while his value is improving. No, they don't. When Joel, this is what I've been saying for a long time. If he's healthy, I said this all last season, even when he couldn't get on the floor. If Joel Embiid's healthy, you can't trade him because you have a chance to win. If he's never healthy, you can't trade him because the contract's too bad and he doesn't have any trade value if he's not healthy. If he's healthy, he's so good that you're a title contender. Joel Embiid is that good. Every single time he's actually healthy, you are a championship contender with Joel Embiid on your team. I watched him take the process Sixers, his rookie season, the month of January. They were 12-5. He just stepped on the NBA floor. And he had TJ McConnell and Luke Baamute at well above 500 in 1 month. And then he got injured again, of course, because he always gets injured. But when he's healthy, he's a top 3 player in the NBA. Come on. So the problem is, when he's not healthy, you can't trade him because he has no value. When he's healthy, you can't trade him because you have a chance to win the whole thing. Now, I think I said this last game, if the 76ers would get into the playoffs this season, everybody's healthy, and they get their ass kicked in the first round, then I could maybe see the 76ers shaking some things up. Because at that point, Joel Embiid would be healthy and would have incredible value, and you would be able to rebuild the roster and structure it around the future, which is Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. And you would have a chance to get out of some very bad contracts. But that would take Joel Embiid looking healthy and the 76ers still getting their ass kicked in the playoffs. And I don't think that those two things, I don't think that's going to happen. I think the only way the Sixers get their ass kicked in a 7-game playoff series is if Joel Embiid isn't healthy. That's kind of what I think. Have fun losing to the Knicks in the first round. Yeah, right. Come on, bro. Nah, it's all peace and love, man. I just, it is what it is, man. We talk ball, man. We sometimes we yell at each other. We're me and you guys. We're basically a family. It's like a bunch of brothers in the same room, brothers and sisters. I'm sorry. It's like a bunch of brothers and sisters in the same room, disagreeing with each other and yelling at each other. It's all love, man. That's part of it. You know what I mean? Thank you guys for even being here, man. Let's see. What do we got here? Would you do a Trae Young type of deal where you're getting expiring contracts just to get off of Joel Embiid? Well, that's the thing, man. If he's healthy, then you're going to get way more than expiring contracts for him, right? Because that's how good he is when he's healthy. The Trae Young deal was only a Trae Young deal because Trae Young doesn't make a team good. He's a midget. And as soon as players like Trae Young stop getting bailed out by lean-in, dive-away foul calls, him and Damian Lillard and some others, James Harden, they stopped having much value because they can't play defense. Joel Embiid, when he's healthy, you're going to get way more than expiring contracts in return. If he would show that he stays healthy from now through the playoffs and the Sixers get their ass kicked in the playoffs and you were going to trade Embiid, you would get a lot for a healthy Joel Embiid. It doesn't matter how much the contract is. If he's hurt and you manage to trade him hurt, he has no value. So, I don't know. Let's see. What other center drops 30 points if you trade Embiid? Well, you can't get a center that drops 30 points. No, there is no center that drops 30 points. But I think the reason people say things like this isn't because you want to get an Embiid replacement. I think the reason people say things like this is because people don't believe that you can win with a center scoring 30 points. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people believe more in the traditional style of basketball or modern style of basketball, which is guards and wings run the show and centers play defense and rebound. And so I don't think people want to trade Joel Embiid in hopes of getting another center that can score 30 points. I think they want to trade Joel Embiid in hopes that you get better defense, better rebounding, and you build the offense more around the guards and the wings, Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. But no, who else can drop 30 points as a center? Nobody. Joel Embiid's he's the best scoring center in NBA history, if you really think about it. He's the highest point per minute in NBA history. He's the most unstoppable offensive force per minute ever. That's not, you can't even argue that. It's a fact. You can argue that he's hurt all the time. I agree. But when he's on the floor, highest point per minute in NBA history. Let's see. Wemby plays defense and rebounds way better than Embiid does. Well, Wemby plays on the perimeter. I wouldn't even really, he doesn't play like a center at all. He's also 21 years old and he's 7'5". So there's that. Let's see. We have to do something on February 5th like a Trey Murphy deal. I don't know. I don't think the Sixers are going to do anything. A Trey Murphy deal would be nice, but the Pelicans, I think they want like 3 first-round picks for him. And Trey Murphy's good. And when you look at a team and you want to build a contender, Trey Murphy is going to be looking for a max contract also. I don't think the Sixers have what it takes to pull that off. And they don't have any assets to trade. So I don't think the Sixers can get Trey Murphy. I think, there's other teams that are going to have those 3 first-round picks to offer up for Trey Murphy. But I agree with you on how good Trey Murphy is. He's really good. X-Man, we need an unhinged, delusional shooter to win these type of games. I really think we're good, but we're fake deep. We're missing the random, ruthless third-year hooper, Claxton or... unhinged, delusional shooter, and then you say Claxton and Derrick Jones Jr. I thought you were gonna say like Sam Merrill or one of the random white snipers that the Celtics always have a plethora of, or Jordan Clarkson or J.R. Smith back in the day. I agree with you that it would be nice. I agree with the first part of your comment. I don't know why you said Claxton and Derrick Jones Jr. I think it would be nice for the Sixers to have an unconscious type of shooter off the bench who has no fear and is one of those guys that you play when he's hot and you bench him when he's cold. They don't really have that guy. We thought that guy was Jared McCain, but coming off of the injury, Jared McCain just looks cooked, man. He looks like he's going to need the rest of this season and the offseason to be back to what he was before that meniscus injury. And when Nick Nurse put Jared McCain in this game, the level of intensity from the Cavs defense, I said out loud, I was like, oh, Jared McCain is fucked in this game. What? You think I don't even know why he put him out there in this game. The way the Cavs were playing defense in this game, I don't even know why he put Jared McCain out there. But they don't have that guy to come off the bench and do those types of things as far as being a guy that, shoots with his eyes closed or whatever you want to say. A fabulous line that I always remember. I shoot right when I come in like J.R. Smith. It's a fire, fabulous bar. And, I always think of J.R. Smith when I think of guys like that. You had Buddy Hield, though. We did have Buddy Hield. And now we don't. Listen, man. Let's look at the standings. And then we're out of here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Hit the like button for me one time. 192 people in here. Let me at least get 192 likes for the Sixers getting cooked and us talking about it somehow for 50 minutes. I thought this was, every time they lose a bad game, I'm like, all right, this is going to be a 20-minute podcast. I don't have anything to say. We're gonna do 20 minutes and we're gonna get out of here. Every time I say that, I come up here and we chop it up for an hour anyway. And that's really because you guys are awesome and you consistently give, engagement-worthy chat comments for me to respond to. Here's the standings. 76ers sitting at 22-17. Still just a game and a half behind the Toronto Raptors. I guess the Toronto Raptors lost tonight. So they were a half game behind the Raptors a couple of nights ago. And then they lost one and won one. So this one I guess the Raptors won actually, because this one puts them another full game behind Toronto. Toronto's only a half game behind Boston. I guess. I mean, man, dude. Like, I said the Toronto Raptors are fake. I said they have a fake record. I said, they're going to come down to earth, or, they have a lot of really good number twos, number threes. I don't think the Raptors have a star that you need to really carry you or lead you through the playoffs. I think the Raptors need to make a trade for a star to get there. But they keep staying in there. And now they're even climbing sneakily. And they're a half game behind Boston. And here comes Cleveland. Let's talk about it. Because look, the Cavs had a terrible start to the season, right? And I was the one that kept saying, I feel like the Cavs are going to come out of it. I feel like the Cavs are going to get it together and make a run. Do you guys remember what I said like months ago about the top of the East? Maybe not months ago, but I think I only really started looking at the standings like December-ish. I think I said Detroit, New York, Philly, and Cleveland are going to be up there. I always thought Cleveland was going to get their chemistry together and start winning some games. I think Orlando is going to fall. I saw nothing impressive from that team in the games that we've played them this season. Although they did blow us out that one time, but that was without everybody, I believe. Or one of the first games we got Embiid back, I don't remember. But I'm thinking Detroit, New York. I still think Boston falls. Great management, great coaching. Jaylen Brown, I have to give him credit. I said they were going to suck this year without Jason Tatum. I didn't think Jaylen Brown was going to lead the Boston Celtics anywhere. So far, he's proven me wrong. He's averaging, I think, 30 points per game almost this season. So I got to give Jaylen Brown credit for stepping up when I said he wasn't going to. I think the Knicks have a lot of issues defensively. It might be Detroit. I realistically, you might disagree with this, but I think Detroit, Philly, and Cleveland are the best teams in the East. Knicks are making it out easily. No, they're not. No, they're absolutely not. Have you watched the Knicks this season? The combination of Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson is way too bad defensively. Way too bad defensively. When you can pick on one guy, that's one thing. When you can pick on two guys, that ain't getting you anywhere. And then throw in the fact that they lost the heart of the team. I mean, Josh Hart literally has been injured. But trading DiVincenzo, they just don't look like they have the heart. And then Mikal Bridges has been not impressive for a team that gave up 5 first-round picks for you. The Knicks are always going to be good, I think, because of Jalen Brunson is that good, and they have a lot of good players. But I think when it comes down to like the overall, I don't think they have enough defense and fight. Maybe Josh Hart comes back consistently and they start to look tougher, but recently that's what I've been seeing from the Knicks, and maybe it is the Knicks not having Josh Hart. Maybe that's what it is. Yabusele is a better shooter and other forward than... Oh, my God, bro. Bro, you think Yabusele is good, bro? The Knicks don't even put him on the floor. Y'all, some of y'all for real just come in here and just say things. The Knicks hardly even put Gershon Yabusele on the floor. He's borderline unplayable. He's that bad. He just got paid because Nick Nurse is a dumbass. Nick Nurse played Yabusele at center last year, almost the whole season. And he got his pants cooked off every single game. He's slow. He can't jump. Bro. Come on now. Anyway, we got the Cavs on Friday. And then we got, let me look at the Sixers schedule here, man. We got the Cavs on Friday, who we're going to beat. We're going to win that one. We're going to win that one on Friday. Then we got Indiana. That's a team that is not trying to win right now. They're trying to get back to the top of the draft and then get Halliburton back. You should beat Indiana. The Phoenix Suns are kind of cooking right now. And the addition of Dylan Brooks is not talked about enough. These kinds of players change a team, not just defensively, but mentality-wise. You know what I mean? And really, if you think about the Sixers, who's the player on the Sixers team that does that? It's VJ Edgecombe, but he's 20 years old, you know? Players like Dylan Brooks or like Marcus Smart back in the day, Josh Hart, again, the Knicks might just look mid because Josh Hart's been out. Dylan Brooks is like changing the identity of the Phoenix Suns as far as their toughness. And then it's like it's contagious. And then other players start to pick up their defensive effort because this guy's out there playing like that and they feed off of it, you know? The Phoenix Suns are kind of cooking lately. Although I do think they need a point guard on the floor. I did watch the Suns Knicks game the other night where the Knicks ended up collapsing late, but the Phoenix Suns held on to it, but they did blow a lead because late in the fourth quarter it was just Devin Booker iso ball, like basically every possession. If he makes the shot, you win. If he misses the shot, you might lose. I think the Suns come off as a little bit one-dimensional in like times like that where there's not a real play being run and it's just Devin Booker iso ball. But yeah, I don't know. The Suns are going to be a tough one because they've been cooking lately. Houston, New York. These are tough games, man. These are tough games coming up. I know. Every time I look at the next 5 games, I say this is make or break. But these next 5 games, the Sixers need to survive these next 5 games. And then you get to a little bit easier part of the schedule. You get Charlotte. And I don't even want to, like, Charlotte's not even a slouch anymore. Brandon Miller can give you 35. LaMelo Ball can have a good night. Miles Bridges, when he's not punching his wife, can give you a good night, you know. But you get Charlotte. You get Milwaukee. They are god-awful. They booed their own team last night. Giannis was booing the fans back. Giannis was in the locker room crying about the fans booing him. Doc Rivers, I have no idea how they haven't fired Doc Rivers yet. It's been a complete disaster since they hired Doc Rivers. He imploded. He literally imploded that entire team. So you get the Hornets, the Bucks, the Kings, who are just the island of misfit toys and make no sense at all, or maybe the worst managed team in the entire NBA. The New Orleans Pelicans, who have a lot of young players but are not really trying to win games right now and might be unloading a lot of guys for their future. What's his name? Derek Queen and who's the point guard? The young point guard they just drafted, Jeremiah Fears. If I'm the Pelicans, I'm everyone's out of here. The guy with the list of addictions, right? Zion Williamson, food addiction, sex addiction, whatever other addictions he has, I'm shipping him out. And then whatever expiring contracts or guys that they know they don't want to pay for the next couple of years, like Trey Murphy and Herb Jones and guys like that. And I think that's what they're doing. And they're just trying to build around Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen because the Pelicans knocked it out of the park with those 2 draft picks in this draft because Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen are awesome. But anyway, you get the Pelicans who aren't really trying to win right now. Either you get the Clippers who I don't think are good. Golden State, LA. So the next 5 games, though, another one of Cleveland Friday, Indiana, Phoenix, Houston, New York. The Sixers got to go 3-2 on that stretch. 4-1 on that stretch would be a big time dub. If they go 2-3 on that stretch, then I'm starting to worry about it. Thank you guys so much for coming through. Thank you for hanging out. As always, Sicko Nation, I got something special coming for the members of this channel. So stay tuned. And yeah, man, I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out.